Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we take a stack of sources, articles, and research and really distill them into the most potent, most surprising insights just for you.
Mm.
Today, we're plunging into a truly fascinating collection of ancient verses. It's known as Five Pañcanipāto,
Right.
which is part of the larger Therīgāthā that translates roughly to Verses of the Elder Nuns.
That's it. Ancient voices.
Exactly. And our mission, well, it's to extract the most profound nuggets of wisdom, maybe some surprising insights too, from these powerful, incredibly personal accounts.
And they really are personal.
They are. These aren't just, dry historical texts. They're direct, candid voices, women from over 2 millennia ago,
It's amazing to think about.
detailing their spiritual journeys, their struggles, and ultimately their liberation. What you're about to hear is, well, it's a kind of shortcut, really, to understanding some incredibly diverse paths to profound inner peace.
And what's fascinating here, truly, is the sheer range of experiences and backgrounds these women came from.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. You have courtesans, mothers, ascetics, even the destitute. It just highlights that this pursuit, this search for profound understanding and freedom, it was accessible to anyone. Didn't matter what your past was.
That's such a key point.
So we'll explore how they navigated their individual paths, from suffering towards liberation, and maybe give some context on why these stories matter so much, why they still feel so relevant today.
Okay, let's unpack some of these transformations then, because they are incredible. What strikes me first is just the range. You've got these long, arduous paths side by side with sudden, almost like explosive breakthroughs.
Definitely.
Take Anyantara Bhikkhuni Pañcanipāta. She kind of embodies that long road, right?
Oh, absolutely. 25 years.
25 years. She talks about the struggle to find peace of mind. Siddhas's upasams is the term, I think.
That's the one, peace of mind. She was initially really struggling with sensual desire, kamaragan avasuta.
Right. She even describes crying, raising her arms when she first entered the monastery. She just couldn't find that serenity.
But she kept at it. Diligence. Perseverance.
For 2.5 decades. What does that endurance tell us about the nature of this whole spiritual journey?
Well, it tells us it isn't always a flash of insight, is it? Her story really underscores the profound power of sheer diligence, sticking with it.
Mm.
And when she finally achieved that peace of mind, that Citasso Santia, it came with these 6 supernormal knowledges, as they're called, Chami Binyasa Chikata.
Like remembering past lives, seeing reality clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Extraordinary insights. And crucially, Asavakayo, the complete destruction of defilements, those mental impurities like greed, hatred, delusion that bind us to suffering.
So it's a testament that just sticking with it, consistent effort, even through real struggle, can fundamentally change everything.
Absolutely. Transform your whole reality.
So that's the deep, hard-won peace path. But then contrast that with Vimala, a former courtesan.
Quite the shift.
Her transformation feels almost instantaneous in how radical it is. She vividly describes her past, her vanity.
Intoxicated by beauty, she says.
Yeah, adorning her body, standing at the gate like a hunter spreading a snare. Ludo pasam ivashya.
Deceiving many with charms and laughter. It's quite a picture she paints.
But the shift, it's so profound. Now she's shaven-headed, simple robe, sitting peacefully under a tree.
And the description of her state, free from discursive thought, agitaka labini.
What does that actually mean in practice?
It means her mind isn't caught in that endless loop, the internal chatter, the planning, the worrying. It's a state of deep mental stillness.
Okay.
And then, cooled and unbound, sitiputam hi nibbutta. It's this powerful metaphor for the ultimate peace, freedom. When all those fires of craving, attachment, suffering, they're just extinguished.
Tooled down.
Exactly. Complete liberation from all bonds, human or divine. Vimala's story really challenges any idea that your past locks you in, that it defines your potential for, ultimate spiritual freedom.
It really does. And speaking of radical change, Sia's story, it's particularly striking and, frankly, quite shocking.
It is intense.
She describes herself as afflicted by desire, kamaragana adita, an unrestrained mind, site avasavatini, always pursuing pleasure.
Sukasanya novatini.
Yeah. And this went on for 7 years. She suffered, became emaciated, discolored.
Just worn down by it all.
And then, this moment of absolute despair, she goes into the forest with a rope Rajagatsana, intending to hang herself. Ubanta.
Thinking it was better than returning to her old ways, her former low life.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The text says, at the very moment she tied the strong noose to a branch and put it around her neck,
Right then.
her mind was freed. Sitavimuchi me,
Mm,
liberation arising in extremis. It's powerful, almost shocking.
it really is.
What does this tell us about how breakthroughs happen? Does it suggest that sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can, find liberation?
It's certainly a dramatic example. Well, it doesn't mean everyone needs to reach that point. Not at all. It does highlight that profound insight can burst through even in the most desperate circumstances.
Right.
Sometimes the sheer intensity of suffering can, well, shatter our illusions, our normal ways of thinking. It creates an opening, maybe, for a sudden deep understanding of reality.
Like a shock to the system.
Exactly. For Siha, that extreme moment, that was her catalyst.
Okay, so beyond these really dramatic shifts, some found liberation through more sustained, dedicated internal work. Contemplation, often from surprising backgrounds too.
Like Nanda.
Nanda's insight into the body, it's a prime example of this sustained, sometimes uncomfortable contemplation, isn't it?
Very much so. She was instructed to meditate on the body as, well, diseased, impure, putrid, hatuyasuchi puti.
And foul-smelling, putrid, doganta pratikavati, pretty stark stuff.
It is. But through sustained, diligent contemplation of the body inside and out, she developed this deep dispassion, and that led to her liberation.
What's the nugget there? What does this stark practice offer us?
Nanda's practice, it reveals something quite radical, I think, by directly confronting discomfort, illusion, the less pleasant aspects of reality.
Instead of avoiding.
Precisely. By confronting them, we can cultivate deep dispassion. She wasn't just observing. She was intentionally seeing the body's impermanence, its less appealing aspects. And this fundamentally alters our relationship with physical desire, with attachment.
Allowing freedom to arise.
Exactly. It shows a path that moves beyond just superficial attraction to a deeper, liberating truth about the nature of form.
That's a powerful inner shift. And then there's Nandudaratheri. She was a former ascetic.
Right, another interesting background.
Her journey moved from all these external rituals to a really profound internal insight. Her past practices were incredibly varied.
Worshipping fire, moon, sun, gods, bathing in rivers.
Performing austerities like shaving half her head, sleeping on the ground, not eating at night. Quite a list.
A whole range of practices.
Yeah. She also admitted, like Vimala, to previously adorning her body, being afflicted by sensual desire. But then she found faith, renounced, and really saw the body for what it is. How did that transition from all those external practices to this internal realization lead her to lasting peace of mind? Santi Papuche Sitaso.
Well, her story illustrates something important, I think. While many spiritual traditions use rituals and austerities, and they can have their place,
Sure.
the ultimate liberation seems to come from an internal transformation, from seeing the true nature of reality, in her case, the body. Her faith wasn't just blind belief. It seems it was a catalyst for this deeper insight.
Which then uprooted the desire.
Exactly. Uprooted the sensual desire and led her to that lasting peace. It's a reminder, perhaps, that genuine spiritual progress is fundamentally about insight, not just following external forms.
That makes sense. These verses also shed light on wisdom found in, everyday actions and the ripple effect of guidance from elders. Pakara's story is just a profound example of it.
Pakara, yes, a key figure.
She questioned why she, a virtuous, diligent person, hadn't attained nibbana, that ultimate state of freedom from suffering. She was watching people plowing fields to earn wealth and thinking,
Why haven't I earned Nibbana yet, essentially?
Right. And her breakthrough came from such simple things, watching water flow off her feet onto the ground, down to the ground.
Simple observation.
And then later, watching a lamp extinguish. And in that moment, Vimoko Ahuchitaso, the release of her mind.
Just like that, from everyday phenomena.
But here's what's crucial, I think. Her wisdom didn't just stop with her.
No, it spread.
She then guided 30 other bhikkhunis, other nuns, and by following her instruction, contemplating what are called the aggregates.
Right, the fundamental components of experience.
Yeah.
Form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness.
By contemplating those, they also achieve liberation and the triple knowledge to Vijja mastery of key spiritual insights.
And became free from defilements and asava.
It just shows that amazing ripple effect of one person's insight.
Absolutely. Pakara's story is beautiful that way. It shows how personal insight can just ignite a whole community. Her simple yet profound observations about impermanence, they were so clear they became this powerful teaching tool.
It really reinforces that idea that true wisdom isn't just for yourself, right? It naturally flows outward, helps others.
It wants to be shared.
And we see this ripple effect, this guidance, not just with Para, but also in the paths of Sakula and Sung. You could almost see them as like matriarchs of the path.
Elder figures, definitely.
Sung, for instance, mentions giving birth to 10 sons before becoming weak and old. Both women describe meeting a bhikkhuni, hearing the Dhamma, the teachings.
Specifically about the aggregates, sense bases, elements, the core analytic framework.
Right. Hearing that and then renouncing their worldly lives, their stories really underscore that even after a life focused on family, worldly duties, profound spiritual insight is still possible. It's not too late.
Never too late. And what did their deep understanding lead them to achieve?
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
They both purified their divine eye, remembered past lives. They cultivated signless liberation animatai. That's a profound state where the mind is free from all mental science concepts and achieved liberation without clinging. With the roots of their aggregates completely cut off, their journeys just prove that spiritual insight isn't limited by age or your past responsibilities. That potential for liberation, it just remains, regardless of your stage in life.
That's really inspiring. Mittakali's story offers another valuable lesson too, I think, about distraction.
Yes, the distraction of worldly things. She admits being initially caught up in gains and honor labhas karo sukha, neglecting the ultimate spiritual goal.
We can all relate to that, probably.
Probably. But then she realized the shortness of life, the impermanence of the body, how old age and sickness, jorabaidi kamadati, just crush it.
That realization woke her up.
It propelled her to liberation by observing the rise and fall of the aggregates, just watching experience come and go, and that finally fulfilled the Buddha's teaching for her.
It's such a powerful reminder that, course correction is always possible. Even if you feel like you're off track, it's not too late to refocus.
Exactly. It highlights the power of mindfulness, doesn't it? Of just observing the arising and passing away of all phenomena. That simple, consistent observation allowed her to cut through those distractions, the noise of worldly achievement, and find true freedom.
And let's not forget Pada, a former Jain ascetic.
Another fascinating transition.
She describes her past life as shaven-headed, mud-smeared, and single-clothed, very austere.
A different kind of renunciate path.
And her encounter with the Buddha on Vulture Peak Gejakumi Pabate was remarkably simple. The Buddha just said, "Come, Pada."
That was it. Her ordination.
Just like that. And she then wandered for 50 years. 50 years. Highlighting this life of dedicated practice that followed from that simple, direct call.
It's interesting, isn't it, how a simple phrase could be such a profound turning point, leading to half a century of devotion.
It really speaks to the power of maybe pure intention, recognition.
Perhaps. For Pade, that direct invitation from the Buddha, maybe that was all she needed to set her on that lifelong path. Renunciation, deep practice. It shows the incredible transformative power of encountering a profound teaching or teacher.
Finally, Candace's transformation. From utter destitution, it's incredibly moving.
It really is a stark contrast.
She was a destitute widow, no friends, no relatives, begging for food for 7 years, just surviving.
Imagine that isolation and hardship.
Then she meets a bhikkhuni who was, the text says, well provided. She sought ordination and was then guided by Pakara.
There's Paikara again, that ripple effect.
Guided on the highest goal, and ultimately Kanda achieved the triple knowledge.
From rock bottom to the highest attainment.
Her story is just such a testament to hope, isn't it? Even in the face of absolute despair.
It truly is. Candace's journey from absolute poverty and loneliness to spiritual liberation through the guidance of another nun, it just underscores again that this path, this understanding, it's accessible to anyone. Doesn't matter about your social standing, your material circumstances.
It really reinforces that message that spiritual wealth is totally independent of worldly possessions.
Completely.
So, okay. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of stories. What does this all mean for us? If you kind of step back and connect these individual stories.
The universal themes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Universal human experiences. The search for meaning, how we deal with profound suffering, and this incredible possibility of deep personal transformation. And the sheer diversity of these women's lives, their paths, it just underscores that there isn't one single rigid formula for inner peace. There's no one-size-fits-all.
But there are consistent themes.
Right. Consistent themes of diligent practice, contemplation, insight. It seems to be about finding clarity somehow amidst the chaos of life.
Well put.
We've journeyed through these incredibly diverse lives, all converging eventually on this path of profound liberation from the depths of suffering, worldly attachment. These women found an inner freedom described again and again as cooled and unbound.
That sense of release.
These ancient voices, they just resonate with a power that, I don't know, it feels like it transcends millennia.
It does. And this raises, I think, an important question for us, maybe for you listening.
Okay.
How do these ancient wisdoms, forged through such intensely personal struggles, these breakthroughs, how do they challenge our modern assumptions about what happiness really is, fulfillment, freedom?
Good question.
What are the common threads connecting all these diverse paths to that ultimate liberation? And perhaps more practically, how might we apply those core principles in our own lives today, even without, renouncing the world entirely?
Right. How do we find that cooling in our busy lives?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
definitely something for you to mull over.